Hello, my many friends, and welcome to Unit 2. So much progress. Fantastic. Unit 2 making inspections effective.
He's dancing. He's dancing. Call the fire department, he's on fire.
Whoa, that was weird. Get that feeling, gotta dance. So remember, effective worksite inspections, I would put this at number 1. Worksite inspections should not be fact finding or fault finding exercise. I remember doing inspections back when I was a machinist, and the manager was like, I want to go bust Andy doing this particular thing. That's not the best practice. I put this at number 2. Look for the positive, recognize and reward safe behavior, catch people doing the right thing. Make this as positive as you can. Like, when you first start doing these, people are going to be very suspicious of you. They're going to be like, why are they in my work area? They're looking for things I've done wrong. But if you include them, life will be so much easier for you and the people that you're inspecting around their work area. Uh, I would put that 1 and 2, personally. Uh, Worksite inspections also need to be tied to hazards. So go through your hazard assessments, your injury lists, incident reports, things like that. And to be effective, everyone has to participate. So get the workers involved, ask them questions, just talk to them. They will tell you so much more than is even fathomable. It's we are the cornucopia of information and nobody ever asks us. Just my 2 cents. So here we go. Can't stress this enough. If there's any takeaway on this, positive safety culture. Conduct inspections creates a positive safety culture by identifying if gaps exist, comparing existing conditions with standards such as regulations and industry practices, identifying the root causes of any gaps, and they identify change in work environment so we can develop recommendations for corrective action. So, policy and procedures. So, policy, it's the organization commitment to worksite inspections. Standards, the commitments to ensure inspections are done in accordance with Occupational Health and Safety Act regulation and code. Definitions, standardized definitions help to ensure everyone's on the same page, so don't use words or acronyms, I suppose. Procedures should include the responsibilities, including managers, supervisor, and healthcare safety folk, frequency, sign off procedures, corrective actions, and follow ups. Remember, changes to occupational health and safety legislation defines timely manner as 30 days for the employer to acknowledge, but 30-day doesn't mean correction has to happen in that 30-day period. The response needs to include how workers will stay safe, though. And next, we'll move on to some key policies and procedures that should be in place. And inspections, they require an investment in time. As with anything, you want that time to be well spent with tangible benefits. So, to reap the rewards and the benefits, there are a few things to consider while you review the safety program. Uh, is there a policy and procedure? Does that policy procedure address all types of worksite inspections? Does that procedure include how workers participate in the inspections? Do you have checklists that are linked to key hazards, behaviors, specific work to the site to be inspected? Is there training for the workers and those conducting the work site inspections? Is there corrective action process for identified deficiencies? Is there a follow up procedure to monitor corrective actions? Is there a communication plan to ensure results are consistently shared with staff? Is there a system for tracking results of worksite inspections and analyzing worksite inspection summaries for trends? Lastly, is there a follow up process including when and how it will be conducted? Does the rest of your safety program support the inspection process? Example, are there reporting procedures, preventative maintenance program? And here we have our different flavors of worksite inspections. We have our informal, which is easy to remember because there is no form attached to it. We've all done informal worksite inspections. We go into a room and we observe. We're like, oh, the floor's wet. there's a hazard there. Or day to day life, we go into a public bathroom, we look at it, we go, nope, and we walk out. Informal inspection. Then we have formal inspections. So, formal inspections, much of the rest of the workshop is dedicated to effectively conducting formal inspections. A general rule of work environment is higher hazards should be inspected more frequently than work areas with lower hazards. So, imminent danger can be corrected before incidents can occur. For example, like the boiler room or the kitchens over the like administrative offices. Uh, and then we have our special worksite inspections. They're similar to formal worksite inspections. However, special inspections is completed only after a situation has occurred. So a new process is implemented, a malfunction, an incident. Health and safety can be involved and support in all types of inspections. Not only the inspections, they are also responsible for the legislation. Oh, lucky us. So we have our checklists. The tool for inspection, use as a guide, but don't rely too heavy. Inspection checklists, they provide prompts for users to ensure that specific hazards or controls are observed as part of their inspection. When creating an inspection checklist, the following organizational information are needed. So, hazard identification, assessment and control processes, documents, knowledge of high risk hazards, and previous inspections and incident reports. They help to determine the frequency of issues and specific departments. Well, I'll be darned, this looks very familiar. Almost like hazard assessments and worksite inspections kind of fit in together. So, there are different possible sources of hazards in the workplace, and all elements should be reflected in the worksite inspection checklist. So, we have our work environment, things like lighting, noise, space, clutter. Then we have our equipment, so things like even vehicles. Make sure the conditions good on the equipment, everything's appropriate. Chemical and biological, so substances in the storage and handling, the use of other supplies. And then we have the one that's the hardest to change: people and worker competency, compliance, safe behaviors, things like that. Uh, it's the hardest to change, but it is the most impactful. Thumbs up, yay. And conditions versus behaviors. Who will win? Hazards will often fall into one of two categories: conditions and behaviors. A workplace condition is a physical condition of the workplace and or equipment. A behavior, on the other hand, is a human action or how staff are performing work tasks. So, an icy sidewalk would be a example of a condition, while a staff member doesn't wash their hands after using the bathroom. That would be a behavior. Gross behavior, but a behavior nonetheless. It's homework time! Woohoo! All right. Activity 2-1: behaviors versus conditions. So, we're going to go through a couple of examples and we're just going to play around to hammer down what we look for during inspections with each example. So let's go with: a maintenance worker slipped on a puddle of water on the floor by the hot water heater. So we would classify that either as a condition or behavior. What do you think it is? That's great. It's condition. Good job. So what would we look for during the work site inspection? So we would check to see if the hot water tank was repaired or replaced. We'll check the maintenance log and observe the hot water tank area for any other leaks or defects. Good job. Next example. A healthcare aide hurt her back while transferring a resident without a transfer belt. Would that be a condition or behavior? That's right. It's a behavior. Good job. 2 for 2. What would we look for during a work site inspection? Well, we would observe the healthcare aide performing resident transfers to see if they're using transfer belts. Just make sure we're doing our jobs correctly. Make sure those controls are in place. Things like that. Good job. So proud of you. So effective checklists, inspection standards. Since a wide variety of staff will be using the inspection checklist, it would be important to make sure that the standards are easily understood. For any particular area of the facility, an inspection checklist should encompass the idea: what does safe work look like here? So, safe work in a kitchen will look different than the boiler room to the administration office, things like that. Regular reviewing and checking the inspection checklist standards for clarity will help staff conduct informative and thorough inspections. The inspection standards should follow the following criteria: they should be related to the behavior or the result of a behavior. The answer yes should mean nothing further needs to be done. It should be easy to understand what the good result and the poor result is. So if we have the criteria standard should be related to behavior or result of the behavior. An ineffective standard of that is PPE available? The proper wording, the effective standard, are employees using appropriate PPE for the task. So you may come across checklists that have improper wording. They're all dynamic. We're always changing them. So it just needs to be very clear on the answer yes. The answer yes should mean nothing further is to be done. An ineffective standard are there items missing from the first aid kit? The proper effective standard: are all required items available in the first aid kit? Should be easy to understand what the good and the poor results are. So ineffective standard: electrical cords? Question mark. The effective standard would be: are all electrical cords unfrayed and in good overall condition? Just remember, inspections are intended to prevent occupational injury and illness. In addition to being well written or easy to understand, checklist standards could be further improved beyond basic hazard identification towards encouraging inspectors to address and identify causes. So, a basic standard is PPE required, and an approved wording: do workers know how to use proper PPE? If PPE was missing, do they know what to do? Uh, Basic inspection standard: is equipment functional? We could make that better. Do workers know how to use the equipment? Can workers demonstrate safe use of the equipment? Basic inspection standard: have corrective actions acted have corrective action items been implemented? The better improved inspection standard that we can better word: has the corrective action been communicated to all? Is the corrective action item effective? So it's all about our wording. It's all about the good, the bad. Always keep that in mind when you're doing inspections, and if we're ever improving on those checklists too. Oh boy, it's homework o'clock, and we're gonna go for a field trip on this one, boys and girls. And here we have an example of a long-term care health and safety inspection report. Basically, we have the current inspection standards. So, is the work area messy? We can improve upon that. Is the work area free of clutter? And then you go on with your report. Finding yes, no, action required. Yes, no action is needed. So for the next two, let's go over those, see if we can make those better. This is a trick though, because you don't necessarily have to. Sometimes it's good enough. It's subjective. Like, are floors clear of any slip or trip hazards? I can't think of any way personally how I could make that better. Are floors regularly cleaned? I don't know. If you can think of something, you're better than me. Then we have: are garbage recycle containers full? We could probably make that better. Are garbage recycle containers emptied on a regular basis, maybe per shift? Yeah, that sounds a bit better. Maybe you can come up with something better. Maybe you're bigger brained than I am. It's just that's it. Subjective. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, but sometimes it's good to be surrounded by smart people. That's kind of what this is. So, site inspections training, theory and hands-on practice. Training employees who are leading the inspection team must be properly trained and competent to perform the work site inspections. Training should include theory and hands-on practice, not just theory. Best practice is have someone who is brand spanking new, put them with someone with lots of experience. That's a very good combination. Talking to the think tank when I was doing these classes, new hires, as soon as they came in, they'd be voluntold that they're doing inspections. Apparently, some places have like quotas for inspections. So, like, a worker has to do like X amount of inspections per year, or else they lose their competency, which this is your training. Uh, the employer and health safety committee members and health and safety reps should be familiar with the training and information needed to work safely, work processes and work areas, workplace hazards and hazard areas, applicable PPE and its limitations, engineering controls in the workplace, applicable health and safety standards and legislation, the recommendations of equipment and material suppliers, how to record information, how to report and deal with concerns. Other staff who are participating in the inspections should get a brief orientation to the process, including the procedure for inspections, hazards, what to look for, and familiarization to the checklist. All employees should be trained on the organization's informal worksite inspection and hazard reporting process. And would you look at that? It's break time. Go for a break. Go take a walk. Go touch some grass. It's all good. But we're all done unit 2, and this is my fancy microphone. This is the good one, like the $1,000 one that picks up everything. I'm sure it's picking up the creaking in my chair. But with that, I will see you folks in the next video. Ta ta.